Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast right now and get notified when new episodes go up throughout the rest of the season. Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. So the Yankees fresh off of taking 2 out of 3 in Cleveland, dropping that final game 2-0. They did rally back a little bit in the ninth there, but overall put up a goose egg. So I'm sure the Yankees were chomping at the bit, especially having a day off Monday, just to get right back on the field. And you would figure, Pittsburgh would be a good matchup for them to take advantage. I mean, going into the game, they were 32-47, and the starting pitcher, Jose Quintana, had lost his last 3 out of 4 starts previous to that. So you just like the Yankees' tail of the tape, you'd say right there. And, of course, the story would be the return of Taillon, again, the former Pittsburgh Pirate, who Cashman traded for before the beginning of last offseason. Him coming back home and kind of sticking it to his former team, but that would actually not be the case. It would be actually the Pirates that would surprise the Yankees in this first game. Again, it's a 2-game set, so there's going to be 2 games in Pittsburgh, and then, we have to wait about a month or two, and then late September would be the final 2 games of this, and that time, though, will be at Yankee Stadium. But on to PNC Park, and it's actually a really nice park. It's a trip I made back in 2008, and I believe it was for 2 games. They lost the first game, but the second game was actually the first time they allowed Jabba Chamberlain to be a starter. So I remember when he came up, he was supposed to be a reliever, and they had all the job rules, and they were going to slowly transition to a starter. Well, I actually got to see him technically his first start. But on to this game here. Pirates got the jump on Jameson Taillon, Daniel Voldenberg, getting them on the board early in the second inning with a solo home run, put them up 1-0. Then in the fourth, Jack Sowinski added 2 more runs via home run as well, 2-run home run. And then by the fifth inning, the Yankees were down 4-0. Now, Judge did hit an RBI single to at least get the Yankees on the board. But from there, really, they weren't able to muster much. And Carpenter added another RBI single in the 8th inning. But again, the Yankees weren't really put together any sort of great rallies. And then in the 9th, David Badner, the closer, came on for his 14th save. IKF did get a single there, but Judge, the final at bat, unfortunately struck out to end the game. And again, surprisingly, the Pittsburgh Pirates won the opening game 5-2, and this is kind of game where the Yankee offense couldn't really put anything together. And now, you're not saying word at this point, but you see that they put up a goose egg on the Sunday game. Now they scored 2 runs against a starter who was struggling mightily going into the start. So you're kind of worried a little bit. But nevertheless, it's just one game. So finally the Yankees bats woke up, and not only they woke up in a big way. But before I actually get to that, it should be worth mentioning that Chapman came on in the 8th inning, had a clean inning, got 2 groundouts and a flyout. So, at least progress compared to his previous appearance where he walked the bases loaded and needed Marinaccio to come out and bail him out of the situation. So at least Chapman put up a clean inning there. So again, that would be the only positive takeaway from that first game. But the second game would be a ton of positives. The Yankee offense really breaking out. Now, it took a while, for the bats to get going. So it was Luis Severino on the mound against Mitch Keller, and it was actually a bit of a pitcher's duel early on. Both offenses really couldn't get anything going there, but it wasn't until the 5th inning where finally DJ LeMahieu broke it open with an RBI single that scored Gallo and IKF. But it was really the later of the game where the Yankees just started really tacking on the long balls and got ridiculous to the point where they had to bring out a position player to just throw an inning there because they pretty much wiped out the bullpen. So a little back-to-back action in 6 by Josh Donaldson and shockingly, Joey Gallo going back-to-back and belly-to-belly in the 6th inning. Even Higgy got in the action in the 7th, adding a home run himself over the center field wall. But the big mighty blow that really put this one away, and ironically, now if you remember previous episode I mentioned that the Yankees had placed Manny Banuelos on the waiver wire again just to make room. When they had to bring up J.P. Sears, well, these very same Pirates did claim him before the series and made him available. So he was actually on the mound in the 8th inning, and with the bases loaded and Aaron Judge up, Judge hitting a bomb to left field, a grand salami at that point. And at this point, it was just becoming a laugh there. But the Yankees weren't done there in the 9th inning. Again, this is how you really know that the Yankee offense was clicking. That not only Gallo hit a homer in this game, but with the bases loaded as well, and that position player I mentioned, Josh Van Meter. Hicks hits a grand slam of his own at that point, and the Yankees are up at that point 14-0. So now you're looking at a football score. So it's 2 touchdowns. The Yankees are up 2 touchdowns to none. But the Yankees still weren't done. So right even after the Hicks grand slam, Giancarlo Stanton's up, and he also takes Van Meter deep for a solo shot. And then Higgy added RBI later, and the Yankee final score would be 16-0. So just a total onslaught. And not only, you have two games with two grand slams in the game, but two back-to-back home runs with Donaldson and Gallo in the sixth, and then Hicks and Stanton doing it in the ninth. And again, the majority of the scoring in this game was from the sixth inning on. The Pirate bullpen just got absolutely decimated, including the newcomer, former Yankee Manny Banuelos, not making any great impressions there. It kind of takes the taste out of your mouth of dropping that first game, and you almost forget about the Cleveland game at that point. So again, kind of brief two-game set, doesn't really prove much. It had some big crowds, of course, a lot of Yankee fans there. A lot of Yankee fans probably made the trip, and of course, I'm sure there's a lot of Yankee fans in Pennsylvania anyway, because it's somewhat relatively close to New York. So at least I'm sure the Pirates, during the rest of the season, probably not drawing much fans there. But of course, the Yankees come in town. Of course, the Yankees having a great season. I'm sure the Pirate front office was happy that the Yankee fans were, there buying seats and buying beers. Yankees improved the record to 59-23, and it's on to Fenway for a battle with the Red Sox. And it's going to be important stretch here because Red Sox climbing the standing a little bit, at least around this point, around 13 games behind the Yankees in the AL East. But there's still plenty of games, for those two to go at each other. So if Boston may want to make a push, this will be the series they may want to start making a dent. And if you're the Yankees, of course, you just want to, take the broom and keep just smashing those teams like the Red Sox down there, the way they've been against Tampa, the way they've been against Toronto, as well as the way they, of course, been against the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore Orioles season probably officially ended back in May. And speaking of Red Sox, actually quite interesting. You might have saw it that Chris Sale, the lefty who, again, he's been rehabbing, hasn't pitched at all the season on the major league level, didn't have a good outing in the minors the other day and decided to take a fit on the clubhouse. And actually, I guess in the minor league park, I guess a fan was able to kind of reach over, look in the dugout, not really the dugout, more the alleyway. And Chris Sale went to town, smashing things, ripped something off the wall, and just absolutely went nuts there. I guess he's kind of getting frustrated because he signed a rather significant contract extension with them, but he's basically been hurt, since being with the Red Sox. So, and I'm sure he's probably feeling terrible, and of course, I'm sure the front office is certainly regretting giving him that extension. But nevertheless, Yankees and Red Sox will do battle. So that's the podcast, Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Hope you liked it. So goodbye, Pittsburgh. Hello, Boston. We'll catch you next time.